All right. So now, what of the OR function or the OR function? How does it work? Let's take a look at it. If the first condition I test returns true, or let me just copy this. Now, if the first condition is true and the second one as well is true, if you are making use of the OR function, the output will be true. All right. If you are checking if the first condition is true and the second one is false, it will automatically return true. If the first condition is false and the second is true, it will return true. But if both conditions are false or all the conditions are false, it will return false. All right. So how does the OR function work? Depending on the number of conditions you give it, this is just a sample. You can give it more than 2 conditions, but it will test each one of those conditions. If all the conditions, everything, one after the other, if everything is false, 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 the OR function will just look at it that, okay, the total or the general output is false. So everything must be false before it will return false. But if I am testing plenty conditions, once one of them is true, I just need one to be true. Once one is true, it will return true. So if it says true anywhere, it will return true. Okay, but if it does not say true at all, it will return false. Just think of it like that. That's the OR function. Once it sees true, once it sees true, comma, it returns or it outputs true. Once it sees true, it outputs true. If it does not see any true, then it outputs false. So meaning if all your conditions, there's no true one there, it will just give you false. But if there's a particular true one there, then it is true. Once it can see one true, the OR function goes into conditions to identify one true statement. Is there anyone among you who is worthy? Is there anyone among you who is truthful? Once I can find one truthful statement, then all of you are exempted. The remaining of you are exempted. I take true. Do you see that? But the AND function we ask, are all of you worthy? All of you. Nobody must be with sin. If there's anybody here with sin, all of you are sinful automatically. So all of you must be true, or all of you must be sinless, or all of you must be holy for everyone to be holy. But once there is one person, just one person that is false in the midst of all of you, it will return false. Okay, so let me type that here. Once it sees false, it outputs false. If it does not see false, it outputs true. So the AND function is looking for blemish. Let's just think of it like that. Think of true as holy, clean, sinless, Okay, and then think of false as negative, evil, and something like that. Okay, so it's the and function will go into those conditions. Once it sees one with blemish, one with negativity, one with sin, it will just automatically assume all of you are sinful. There is no, you can't beg me about it. Okay, but the or function is looking out for, is there anybody that is truthful? Is there anybody that is trustworthy? Is there anybody that is holy? Even if he's in a club gathering, once he goes in and he sees one person, I can bring out one person that I can say, okay, this person is trustworthy or is holy. Then all of you are forgiven. I will pick that person and use him to generalize all of you. All right. So I hope that analogy that I just painted makes sense. So now let us now bring it back here and let us see these conditions. So the AND function, we check what are the conditions we are testing. We are testing if C2 is greater than 150,000 and if B2 is greater than 100,000. So let's look at them one after the other using the AND function. This one greater than 100,000. This is false, isn't it? Now the AND function, once it sees false, it will return false. No stress. Side hustle greater than 100,000. False. Once it sees false, it returns false. No stress. You see that? But here, it says side hustle. Is it greater than 100,000? Yes, that is true. Beautiful. But that's not all. I won't stop there because I am the AND function. I will check everybody. Everybody must be clean, holy, must be truthful before I will return true. So it will go to the next statement. This one, is it greater than 150,000? True. So two of them are true. Okay, beautiful. Then you are good to go. But for the OR function, when it checks side hustle, is it greater than 100,000? No, that's false. Okay, let's see. Is there someone else? Is there somebody there? Is there somebody there? It checks the income. Is it greater than 150,000? Yes. Side hustle. I pardon you. Because of income that is greater than 150,000, then I will return true. But you see here, side hustle, is it greater than 100,000? No. Income, is it greater than 150,000? No. The two of you don't now even have any other thing doing than to be sinning up and down. No truthful person amongst the two of you. Two of you, leave my side, and it returns false automatically. Okay? So that is basically how the truth statement works. All right. I hope that analogy was able to paint something clear in your mind. Now, we've been looking at these functions. They return true or they return false. They return false or they return true. They return true or they return false. They return false or they return true. Now, what if me, I actually wanted to state the value to return? That, young man, don't tell me true or false. I'm tired of hearing true or false. Okay? Me, if it is true, then return let me see, let me give a value. If it is true, let's tell it to return high. Okay, if it is false, we'll tell it to return low. All right, now if you want to be the one to specify a particular output, this is where your if function comes in. Your if function will do the same thing. Let's look at this. I can say equal to if, open brackets, logical test. Now let's check if this value, is it greater than 150,000? And I close the bracket. Look at something. Oh, this is what I just have. Oh, and I close the bracket. Now, why did I close the bracket? And I know that it will work if I press enter. Is C2 greater than 150,000? I have to state a value to return. Okay, that is why you see the if function says value if true. Now, meaning this condition you are testing, if it is true, okay, if it is true, what should I return? Comma. Now, if it is true, I don't want you to return true. What I want you to return is high, H-I-G-H. Now, because I want you to return high, H-I-G-H, which is series of characters together, I need to tell Excel that these characters, H-I-G-H, you should categorize them as a word. And how will I tell you to categorize them as a word? I will put it in double quotes. I will open double quotes and I'll type high, H-I-G-H, and I'll close double quotes. Okay, that is the value if true. If what is true, this test, logical test, if it is true, it will return high. Then, comma, I move on to the next argument. What if it is false? That, oh, is it greater than 150,000? False. What if it is false? What should I return? I'll tell it return low. Now, because low is a series of character, okay, and I want to tell Excel to categorize it as a word, then I'll put it in double quotes. Low. Even if it's one character, it has to be in double quotes because you're telling Excel to return a particular word. All right. Now, if I press enter, you see it tells me high. Unlike before that, if I say, oh, this value greater than 150,000, it will tell me, yes, true. You can see this time around, it's telling me high because me, I've already told it that if it is true, what I want to see in the cell is high. If you show me true, I will give you blow. All right. So now, let's see. High. So if I come to the small green box and I double click, I have high and low. You see where I have low? It is where the income is less than 150,000. So it tested the condition. Look at the condition. Is it greater than 150,000? Is this value greater than 150,000? False. Now, because it is false, what does it return? The value, if it is false, is what? Low. So it will return low. So you see when to use the if function. If you want to output something, you just know that, oh, automatically is the if function I'm going to use. But if you just want to see true or false, then you can use the AND function, you can use the OR function. Or you can just use a simple formula. Now, in this if function, I tested only one condition. Okay? In this if function, I tested only one condition. If I want to check two conditions this time around, not just one condition alone, no, two conditions that, okay, oh, since the same way I tested the AND function and the OR function, okay, can I use it in the if function? Let's see. I would say equal to if, open brackets. Now, the logical test is going to test two conditions, and I want to use the AND statement. So in there, I will type my AND as well. AND, open brackets. Now, this value greater than 100,000, which is B2, comma, C2 greater than 150,000. So this AND function will check if both conditions are met. Okay? After my AND function, immediately I close my bracket for my AND function. I will press comma so that we move on to the next thing in the if function. This entire AND function is my logical test for the if function. All right, then I'll move on. I would say value if true is higher. Let's say higher. Close my double quotes, comma, value if false. If false, I'll say double quotes, not, let's say not high. Close the double quotes, close brackets. All right, or let's say not high enough. Close double quotes, close brackets. And I'll press enter. Do you see this? It says not high enough. Why? Because the two of them are not met. Now you see, one of them is false, which is the side hustle, even though the second one is true. Now, once the AND function checks the two of them, it will return what? False. So it is based on this false that the if function will be working with. That, oh, since this entire logical test is false, then the value to return is not high enough. All right, click here and double click this down. So practically it works the same way if you go on to the if and the or function. Equal to if the or function, open bracket again. I want to check this greater than 100,000, comma, or this greater than 150,000. Close my bracket for the or function. So that is my condition. Comma. Now, value if it is true is what? In double quotes, high. Close the double quotes, comma. If it is false, not high enough. Close the double quotes and close the brackets. And I press enter. You can see now this one is saying high. Can you see? For the AND function, it is not high enough because the two of them are not met. It's not the two of them that is met. But for the OR function, as long as one of them is met, then it is high. So if I double click this, you can see where I have not high enough is where the two conditions are entirely not met.
Endeavor to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thank you. See you in our next class. Bye.